Alright, so again, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to answer the question, how do we conduct action research? So we're going to cover the following topics. What is action research and how do we define it? And after doing that, we're going to cover what are the different steps that we need to conduct in order for us to do action research. After doing that, we're also going to talk about being a reflective practitioner. So the reason behind doing action research is really to become reflective. I've heard the old adage that says, experience is the best teacher, but I would disagree to that, because the best teacher is always reflection. And also at the same time, we're going to talk about making progress in school-wide priorities. So what are our targets as a school? So how do we improve all these practices? After that, we're going to talk about building professional cultures. Right. So what is action research and how do we define it? Well, action research, according to the Institute for Study of Inquiry in Education, it is a disciplined process of inquiry conducted by those and for those taking the action. Right. So the primary reason for engaging in action research is to assist the actor in improving and refining his or her actions. So please take note of the keywords. We are here to improve our actions. So basically, if you conduct action research, you are doing it for the sake of improvement. So if your action research doesn't find any improvement at all, then you cannot call it an action research, because the purpose of doing action research is for the purpose of refining and improving action. And that is the reason why it's called action research. Alright, so action research process follows 7 steps. So these steps are very important. So at this point, we will just read through all the 7 steps and we will discuss them one by one. So the first step is selecting focus. This is followed by clarifying the theories. You need to find the theories that governs that focus that you wanted to study. And then after doing all those things, you need to start identifying the research problems. The research problems will help you solve the inquiry that you're currently doing. After that, you try to collect data. You are now very focused because you already have your research questions in mind. So you can now collect the data, and after doing that, you can now analyze the data. You try to ask, what does the data tell me? And then after doing that, you need to share the data that you have. And a very important step after reporting the results that you have is step number 7, which is taking informed action. Meaning you need to improve whatever you have. There should be a sense of improvement from what you're doing. So let's talk about it one by one. Selecting the focus. It starts with the teacher asking the question. This is a very important question we ask. What elements of our practice or what aspect of student learning do we wish to investigate? Well, doing the educational process is a very complex one. We see that we are dealing with human beings, and human beings are very complex creatures, right? So they think differently, people think different from each other. We are all unique. So it's very important that we put into context what we are studying. How does a person learn? Right? So every child has a unique way of learning. Every teacher has a unique way of teaching. But you need to choose what you need to focus on. In the particular situation that you have, what area of focus would you want to study? So this is very important because most of us are encountering a lot of problems in the classroom, especially right now in the new normal. But what are the challenges? And what do you want to study? So this is the first step in doing action research. And there are many problems in the field. All you have to do is to look for the right one to focus on and try to improve that aspect of practice that you have. The next step is now clarifying the theories. Now you have identified a very specific portion of problems that you're encountering in your work. The next step is to read. You read what does the theories tell you about this specific situation. Let's say, for example, the child is demotivated. He doesn't want to go to school. What does the theory or what does the study tell you about this? So you need to read about what does the researchers before you tell us about these specific situations. So I think this is one of the most important steps. You need to learn to read and to research more about the specific topic that you wanted to learn from. Alright, step 3, identifying the research questions. So once a focus area has been selected and the researcher's perspective and beliefs about what focus has been clarified, you already know where to look. The next step is to generate a set of personally meaningful research questions to guide the inquiry. So as I've said, it's very important that the set of questions are evolving in a way that will help you accomplish the main goal that you want to do, right? So try to narrow them down, make them step by step, and at the same time help you achieve the goals that you wanted to do. So that is step 3. Step 4, you can now start collecting data. So it's very important that you do collect data, and the instructional decision should be based from sound data. Whatever source that you have should actually be accurate, right? So be honest with the data that you collect. At the same time, try to check for the reliability and validity of the data that you're collecting. And then try to consider multiple windows in understanding the phenomena you are studying. Well, there are many ways to kill a cat. At the same time, there are many ways to view something, right? So try to look at the box at the different windows, right? So this is usually what you call triangulation in research. But at the same time, as a teacher who wants to reflect on his or her practice, you try to look at ways in which you can look at the same phenomena in the different angles. And in such a way, you'll be able to understand whatever phenomena that you're studying, and you'll have deeper insights as to how to go about it. The most important thing is that you understand it and as deep as possible. As a researcher, you are after the truth. You are not after the lies. You wanted to see what is real, what is inside it. So, trying to look at it in different angles will actually help you understand more about the phenomena that you're studying. And very important is that you try to efficiently and effectively identify the possible sources of data. Well, a lot of data is there available. All you have to do is to use the eyes to see them and try to be intuitive in trying to find the best sources of data that you can have. One of the most important questions we ask is that when we try to look for the story behind the data, we also need to ask why. Why did the story play itself out this way? What is the reason behind it? And what are the implications of this data? And asking the question why really provides you with a lot of insights. Why is this happening? Why did it happen? What is the cause? So all these questions will actually trigger you to think about what sources or what reasons are behind the phenomena that you're studying. So it provides you with deeper insights as to what the story is telling you. So never stop looking for the answers, because that is the essence of being a researcher. You always seek for the answers. You always seek for the truth. Alright, so we will now proceed to step 6. Reporting your results achieves the essence of research, which is to inform practice for the sake of improving. Just like what we are doing now, we are trying to inform you about the latest research findings. So as a researcher, you need to share what you have learned. And not only that, you need to be informed and you try to reflect it into your practice. Sharing your research also allows discussion for improving the research work that you have. Having people to criticize your work actually provides you with insights, and it makes you become more reflective on your practice. And it also provides others with an idea as to the next action research that they can do to improve their practice as well, thus creating a professional culture of continuous improvement in our respective schools. Step 7, a very important step. We now take informed action. So as a researcher, you always take into consideration the fact that you need to adjust whatever you do. It's called action research because you wanted to improve your craft. You need to refine action. You want to improve our current practice. Now, by disseminating it, you allow people to also change their ways. You allow people to improve their practice. So it is expected that teachers apply the good results identified in the study and apply it to improve practice. So whatever you're doing, if it's an action research, please include a portion in your study that talks about how much you have improved in doing your craft or refining your action, whatever phenomena that you're studying. So a specific part of your research should provide data and insights to this improvement. So if it so happened that in your action research, no improvement was evident, well, you need to actually redo it again. So this is actually a cycle of steps that allows you to reflect on the different steps that you have conducted in order for you to create a refinement, to create an improvement in the practice that you have done. Right? So that is the reason why it's called action research. It's very specific as to how you would improve your practice as a teacher and as a professional who wants to learn and to become reflective with whatever practice you have. Right. So let us remember the three purposes of action research. First is to build a reflective practitioner. Okay, so are you a reflective practitioner? So it's very important that we take into consideration this very important saying: the best teacher is not experience, it is reflection. So become a reflective practitioner. Try to reflect on your practice, improve it, take into consideration the different data that you have collected, and improve the way you do things. In such way, you become a reflective practitioner. Right? And also at the same time, making progress in school-wide priorities. Whatever priorities you have in your schools, take into consideration all those things and put that into focus. Put it in step one so that you'll be able to improve whatever you have as a teacher or a school head or whatever roles you play in your respective schools. The delivery of quality education is a complex process, remember that, and it requires a lot of improvement. We need to continuously improve our practice, right? And at the same time, when we do this, we are building a professional culture. We create a culture of reflection among our colleagues, our school leaders, and then as professionals, teachers, we should develop the drive for learning. It should be that we, teachers and school heads, are the ones that will continuously learn, because we are in the business of educating people. And as educators, we should not give up on learning. We should show a very good model and example to our learners that learning is lifelong. It takes a whole lifetime to learn. Even if we are already professionals, we need to continue improving whatever we have. Right? So that is building a professional culture. Alright, so for more information about research, you can contact me through all those social media channels that you can see in the screen.